We are talking about Superman.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
I will have a spoiler thing right there. All right, just letting y'all know that there are spoilers. I have seen it twice. If you're watching this video and you haven't seen it yet, you're setting yourself up for failure. We're gonna start off with what was bad. I'm not gonna get everything, all right? So don't be in the comments talking about, oh, you missed this. Oh, why didn't you talk about this? Yeah, shut up. I'm not gonna be able to talk about everything, all right? But if I miss something, say in the comments your thoughts on a certain thing that I missed, and I will respond to you, I promise, okay? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into it. What was bad? First things first. You can tell that James Gunn cut this movie thinking that the movie was too long. Let me explain. There's definitely certain characters that do not get the screen time, but you can tell they had more screen time. I cannot remember what his name is. Someone in the comments tell me, Perry White, there we go, Perry White. I can tell Perry White had more scenes. There was a storyline that got cut out of the movie where I guess Perry White didn't respect Jimmy Olsen. By the end of the movie, Jimmy gains Perry White's respect and says, you can call me Chief. There's definitely a little subplot in there where we didn't get to see, probably because they cut a lot of Wendell Pierce's scenes out thinking that the movie was too long. Jimmy Olsen got cut out of this movie a lot. I could tell they cut a good amount of his scenes out. They had a little subplot where he had an informant. His informant was Lex's girlfriend, and she was just this dumb, airheaded character. She doesn't really amount to much. I didn't like the fact that it was cut. It was cut down. You can tell it was cut down. The kaiju, Lex Luthor, says that he has a distraction in place. So his henchmen have a box in the back of a truck, and the box is just shaking, and you hear like growls or whatever, so you know something's in there. They let it out. The kaiju starts out really small, right? I was like, okay, cool. We're about to see how this motherfucker grows. No. They literally let the kaiju out, and then the next scene, it cuts. The kaiju was just big as fuck, and Superman's battling the kaiju. And one of the reasons why I dropped the points from it is because I wanted it to be longer. I actually felt like the movie was too short. And I don't know if I'm in the minority of that, but I wasn't checking the time. I was simply in awe watching this movie.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might...
It's a lot of fire.
It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
I said this in the non-spoiler review. So I was talking about a Kryptonian message in my non-spoiler review. His parents left him a message. Superman wasn't able to decipher the second half of that message because the code was messed up when he landed out on Earth. He was never able to figure out what that second part of the message was, right? Lex infiltrates the Fortress of Solitude. We find out that Ultraman is, in fact, a Superman clone. So that's how Lex Luthor is able to get his DNA. Somehow, the engineer is able to hack into a Kryptonian motherboard or Kryptonian technology. The Superman robots couldn't fix the error message that his parents sent. They got the message, they brought it back to professors, teachers, scientists, people that study languages and stuff. They got tech specialists, and apparently the tech specialists and the scientists and the professors, they are all able to just translate what his parents said in Kryptonian.
Quit messing around!
How many Kryptonians have they ran into for them to understand or break down the language? Krypton is destroyed. The only two remaining Kryptonians is Supergirl and Superman. For all we know, the Hammer of Boravia was terrorizing Metropolis. He calls out Superman, he beats Superman's ass. What I didn't like about the Hammer of Boravia, or in that scene in particular, is after he does what he does, beats Superman's ass, and he says what he has to say, he dips, right? He dips. He doesn't dip to go back to like a base where no one can see, or like a military base where no one's around. He literally goes across the street. The Hammer of Boravia goes from Luthor Corps to literally the beach part of Metropolis. He literally goes across the street. And nobody sees him. No one sees him land. He literally lands in American soil. No cops, no FBI, no SWAT. No one does anything. He's just able to gracefully land on the beach. We find out the Hammer of Baravia is actually Ultraman inside of the suit. But yeah, I thought it was, he literally just flew across the street, he landed on the beach, and then that was that. Was no one looking at him when he was talking? If that was me, boy, I would've, I'm using my phone. This is my phone right here. I would've recorded this nigga as he was landing, and as I saw him land across the street from me, I would've been like, boop, 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 boop. Hello, 911? Yeah, I know exactly what Baravia is. Why didn't no one do that? There were 2 post-credit scenes, but neither of them have had any substance, which is cool. Like, we've seen it in Marvel. Marvel does that every now and then, but Marvel didn't start out that way. The way they did it was by, in the post-credit scenes, they would give us a little teaser of something looking forward into the future. And James Gunn didn't do that. He said that these post-credit scenes weren't gonna have any substance. They're not gonna mean anything to further the story. And he did, he let us know that. I guess I'm sort of just spoiled. I'm spoiled in the sense that, like, there's at least one post-credit scene that adds to the overarching story. And, you know, he didn't do that. And that was something I didn't like. You know, they do give us Supergirl before the post-credits. They should have just used the Supergirl clip at the end of the movie as a post-credit scene. That would have been fine. For moviegoers that go to these type of movies, we're always going to wait to the end of the credits. Always, no matter what. They could have put one scene in there that was looking forward into what's to come in the universe.
Make a move, Big Blue.
Buckle up.
They chose him. Let them die.
Hey! Quit messing around!
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Okay, now we're getting to the good. The casting, beautiful. I couldn't have casted a group of characters in a Superman movie any better. I think everyone played their part. Skyler, I don't remember his last name. He played Jimmy Olsen. I thought that Jimmy Olsen storyline was perfect. I think the Jimmy Olsen and the Clark Kent dynamic was perfect. And we didn't get enough of that dynamic. I thought Lex's hatred for Superman was earned. And it's weird because it wasn't earned in the sense like Superman did something to him. I believed his hatred for him because of the way he was acting. They didn't show us why he hated him. They told us why he hated him. And more times than not in movies, when they tell us instead of show us, that can be seen as a bad thing. I actually appreciated it. I feel like I believed it more. Because it was a comic book movie, I didn't necessarily need Superman to do Lex Luthor wrong, and that's why Lex Luthor just hates him. He just got to the planet, and now the whole world admires him just because he has powers, just because he has strength. So now Lex sees that and wants to expose the fact that he's not as strong as everyone else thinks he is. Jealousy. That's the perfect thing. Lex is jealous of Superman, and jealousy can result in hate, which is real. That's genuine.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
Add that with the actor doing his job, Nicholas Hoult. He played Lex Luthor to a T, to a comic book. There are a couple moments in this movie that show you he hates Superman. Because Lex overall is controlling everything. There's not a single thing that happens in this movie that goes wrong that Lex isn't a part of. From the kaiju, to the Hammer of Baravia, to the war going on in the different country, Lex has a finger in every single plan that goes on with the movie. That is the most comic book villain thing I have ever seen. This is where it gets crazy. Lex has to memorize codes in order to do combos to beat this nigga. Superman has been on this earth for 3 years. That means Lex has been studying him for 3 years. I think it means so much more that Lex took the time to research Superman's fighting style, made a clone of him, and then memorized combos like it was fucking Mortal Kombat. Memorized combos that's literally able to grab him, grapple him, spin him around, throw him to the ground, throw punches. Lex had to memorize all of that. That's the hatred that I'm talking about. That's the comic booky movie that I'm talking about. Lex is jealous of him, and he wants to expose somebody that everybody is admiring and glorifying for no reason. It is lighthearted. It does give you that comic booky feel. The suit is colorful. Superman, you'd want to approach him. Kids are running up to him and they're hugging him. They love him. They love him. Kids want to be him. That is Superman. That is Superman. Whether you like it or not, whether you don't like the colorfulness, whether you don't like that he's approachable, that is Superman. It is a different version of Superman that is more comic book accurate. And it worked for me. And it's not gonna work for everybody, but it worked for me. The Justice Gang. Phenomenal. Specifically, Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific. Fun, fun, fun. We're gonna have some fun, fun, fun. While Mr. Terrific is beating their ass. Bro, he's throwing T-Spear, 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 T-Spear. This is all being shot while in the POV of Lois Lane. Mr. Terrific puts a shield over Lois Lane. He steps out the shield and goes to work on these henchmen, bruh. T-Spear, T-Spear. I have never been more afraid of T-Spears in my life. T-Spear. This Mr. Terrific, bro, he was not to be fucked with. He didn't take no bullshit. He was smart as hell, and he was badass. And you need to go in the theaters for yourself to see that scene in IMAX. Perfectly choreographed. Again, I was smiling from ear to ear, and I think everybody who's going to watch it is gonna have just as good of a time. Lex Luthor. He's the most comic booky villain since Thanos. I said this in my non-spoiler review. I don't think anyone would disagree with me. He's willing to do whatever he has to do to make sure he tears Superman down. T-Sphere. There's a scene in the movie. It's one of the most dramatic scenes in the movie, honestly. Just this regular pedestrian. The only reason why Lex kills this dude is because he helped Superman. In the beginning of the movie, Superman gets thrown down by the hammer of Baravia, and this one guy is the only person that helps him up. The movie does a great job because when I saw it a second time, I realized this. When the dude helps Superman up, Lex scans his face and IDs him. That is important for later on because Lex finds that guy when he captures Superman. He threatens to kill him if Superman doesn't give him the information that he wants. Lex Luthor shoots this dude in the head. Headshot. One shot, one kill. That shit was menacing, bro. Because it makes a difference. His technology is the thing that creates the world-ending aspect of the movie, right? If it's just a technology, that's one thing, right? He's super smart, so of course he can find some sort of tech that might go wrong. But it's a whole nother thing. It makes it personal. When you have Lex holding the gun, doing Russian roulette in front of Superman, looking at Superman, like eye to eye, looking at Superman and shooting that motherfucker in the face. And what made it even more menacing is that Lex, one, didn't flinch, two, wasn't remorseful, and three, this man made a joke saying that he thought it was gonna go longer. Shout out to Nicholas Hoult, man. Lex Luthor was a gem in this movie, all right? He was badass. He was a villain. What more can you ask for out of Lex Luthor? There was a government aspect in this. Obviously, Superman stopped a war. The thing is, the government is like, should we monitor Superman? Like, should we let Superman just be on his own? And that's the whole like conflict. And Lex Luthor he has connections so he can get into the Pentagon. And he's sitting in the Pentagon with all these government officials because he sells arms to different countries for wars and for their military and shit like that. And they're all talking about, whether or not they should monitor Superman and they should track what he's doing and control where he goes. Lex the whole time is like, we need to like put an end to Superman. Other government officials are like, there's no evidence. There's no concrete evidence to show that he is here to do any harm. I like that conflict because he's an alien. How do you justly treat an alien? I thought that was an interesting parallel. Eventually, the government does get on Lex's side. Obviously, Lex's plan doesn't work out. Crypto, to me, was great. He got a very satisfying ending at the end of this movie. How Hulk did Loki at the end of the first Avengers. Yeah, Crypto did Lex Luthor the same way. Except Hulk is Hulk, and Crypto is a fucking dog. Lifting Lex in the air and dragging him in the air, smacking him into shit, knocking shit over. To me, I think it was a nod to how Hulk did Loki at the end of the first Avengers. I think I did talk about Supergirl. Supergirl, honestly, that was a great introduction. Let me talk about how that happens. Supergirl comes into the Fortress of Solitude drunk as hell. Was I expecting that? Absolutely not. Did I know Supergirl was in it? Yes, I did. But did I know that she was gonna come in like that? No. That made me more excited for the character because it instantly makes her relatable. She can't get drunk to her yellow sun, but she's still young. She's a young heart. She wants to party. She wants to hang out with her friends. So she goes to other planets to party. I thought that was gold. I don't know how many people would like that aspect, but I thought that shit was gold. That shines a new light on Supergirl that I didn't know was there. This Supergirl comes in stumbling, slurring her words, yelling at Superman. Like he's not Superman. The banter between them I thought was great. It made me excited for their chemistry in the next movie. I don't even know if David Cornsweet is in the Supergirl movie. From that one scene, I felt the chemistry between them two. They're cousins. Supergirl literally walks out saying, "Thank you for watching my dog, bitch." Bro, what? Calling Superman a bitch is crazy. The fact that Supergirl is calling Superman a bitch is crazy. The fact that Supergirl is drunk and she can't get drunk on Earth. She has to go to another planet to get drunk. I thought was great. The fact that her movie's coming next and not like The Flash or Batman or Wonder Woman, I think that's a bold choice. I think that having Supergirl as one of your forefronts of the DC universe is a bold choice. And after watching that one scene, I do feel like it is going to work. Hopefully I talked through everything. Hopefully this was a great video. And if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you would be watching this video. Go watch my non-spoiler review. Make sure you go see it in theaters. Definitely something you should see in IMAX or Dolby. I think this movie was a 9 out of 10. I said that rating in the non-spoiler review. I think the majority of the people are gonna have fun with this movie. It's not a perfect movie, but it is a great movie. And that's all this movie had to be, was great. Thank you guys for watching my spoiler review. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. If you guys want any other idea videos, any other videos you think I should do, whether it's a tier list, whether you want me to rank the Superman or rank the DCU movies as a whole, let me know in the comment section. I will make a video on it. This is Will's Words of Wisdom. Burr, 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 burr.